My brother stole my identity, maxed out my credit, and our parents blamed me. I'm still reeling from everything that's happened, and honestly, I don't even know where to begin. My name is Alex, I'm 32, and for the past 2 years, my life has been a complete nightmare, all thanks to my younger brother, Mark, who is 29. And the worst part? My parents, instead of being supportive, have somehow managed to make me feel like I'm the one at fault. It all started subtly, almost innocently. I work as a software engineer, and I've always been pretty meticulous with my finances. I have a good credit score, no debt, and a healthy savings account. Mark, on the other hand, has always been a bit of a financial black hole. He jumps from one get-rich-quick scheme to another, never holds down a job for long, and is constantly asking my parents for money. I've always tried to keep a healthy distance from his financial drama, offering advice when asked but never bailing him out, mostly because I knew it would be a bottomless pit. About 2 years ago, I started noticing some weird things. Small, almost insignificant at first. A credit card statement with a purchase I didn't recognize for about $50. I chalked it up to a banking error, called the company, and had it removed. Then, a few weeks later, another one, this time for an online electronics store, around $100. My alarm bells started ringing, but I still wasn't thinking it was anything malicious. I thought maybe my card details had been compromised online. I cancelled the card, got a new one, and tightened my online security. Things quieted down for a few months, and I thought the problem was resolved. Then, it escalated dramatically. I received a notification from my bank about a large purchase attempt, a new car. The transaction was flagged as suspicious and declined, thankfully. But it sent a jolt of fear through me. Someone was actively trying to use my identity. I immediately pulled my credit report, something I hadn't done in a while. What I saw made my blood run cold. There were 3 new credit cards opened in my name, all with balances close to their limits. A personal loan for $15,000, and a car loan application. My credit score, which had been excellent, had plummeted. I felt a wave of nausea. This wasn't just a simple case of compromised card details. This was full-blown identity theft that I went into crisis mode. I called every single creditor, reported the fraud, and began the arduous process of disputing charges and freezing my credit. It was an overwhelming amount of paperwork, phone calls, and stress. I spent countless hours on the phone, explaining my situation again and again. I even filed a police report, although I didn't have a suspect at that point. The police officer I spoke to was sympathetic but warned me that these cases are often difficult to solve unless there's a clear suspect. During this time, I confided in my parents, hoping for their support. I told them about the identity theft, the ruined credit, and the incredible stress it was causing me. Their reaction was subdued. My mother expressed concern, but my father seemed strangely distant. He kept asking if I was sure it wasn't just a mistake, or if I had perhaps forgotten about some of these accounts. I was offended. I know my own finances, and these were clearly fraudulent. A few weeks later, I received a letter from one of the credit card companies. It included a copy of the application form for the fraudulent card. On it, under contact information, was a phone number I recognized instantly. It was Mark's. My stomach dropped. It couldn't be. My own brother. I confronted him, not directly at first, but subtly. I asked him if he knew anything about identity theft, if he had any experience with it, or if he knew anyone who had been a victim. He got really defensive, really quickly. His eyes darted around, and he started stammering, saying things like, "Why are you asking me this? Do you think I did something?" His reaction confirmed my worst fears. Armed with the proof from the credit card company, I sat him down. "Mark," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "I know you opened these accounts in my name." I laid out the evidence, showing him the application with his phone number. He initially denied everything, vehemently. He accused me of trying to frame him, of being jealous of his success. What success? I wondered. But as I calmly presented more evidence, bank statements, addresses used that were linked to his previous apartments, even IP addresses from online purchases that matched his home network, his denials started to crumble. Eventually, he broke down. He confessed. He told me he was in deep financial trouble, that he owed money to some bad people, and that he saw no other way out. He thought he could just borrow my identity, use the credit, and pay it all back before I noticed. He swore he was going to repay everything, that he just needed a fresh start. He looked genuinely remorseful, crying and begging for my forgiveness. My initial reaction was a mix of shock, betrayal, and an overwhelming sense of sadness. My own brother. How could he do something like this? I told him I needed time to process everything, and that I would have to tell our parents. And this is where the real drama began, the part that has truly broken my heart. When I told our parents, I expected anger, disappointment, and support for me. What I got instead was a bizarre, almost unbelievable defense of Mark. My mother started crying. Not for me, but for Mark. Oh, Alex, he was just desperate. He didn't mean any harm. He's been going through so much. My father, ever the pragmatist, or so I thought, said, "Well, Alex, you have a good job. You can afford to take a hit. Mark is struggling. Maybe you should have helped him out when he asked for money. Then this wouldn't have happened." I was flabbergasted. "Are you serious?" I asked, my voice rising. "He stole my identity. He opened tens of thousands of dollars in debt in my name. My credit is ruined. And you're blaming me." They both launched into a lecture about how I'm the older brother, I'm more stable, and I should understand Mark's struggles. They painted him as a victim of circumstances, and me as the unfeeling, successful brother who wouldn't lend a hand. They said I was being too hard on him, that I should just forgive and forget, and that family is family. They even suggested that I shouldn't report him to the police again, because it would ruin his life. "Think about what this will do to him, Alex," my mother pleaded. "He'll have a criminal record. He'll never get a good job. Our family will be shamed." I felt like I was in an alternate reality. My brother committed a serious crime, a crime that has had devastating financial and emotional consequences for me, and my parents were more concerned about his future than mine. They were actively trying to protect him from the consequences of his actions. At my expense, I tried to explain the long-term impact this would have on me. The credit repair process alone could take years. I might not be able to get a mortgage, a car loan, or even rent an apartment with a ruined credit score. I told them about the constant anxiety, the feeling of vulnerability, and the sheer amount of time and effort I was having to put into fixing this mess. They just nodded, looking vaguely sympathetic, but always circling back to Mark's desperation and my responsibility as the older brother. "He's your brother, Alex," my father repeated. "You need to help him. You need to bail him out of this." Bail him out? I almost shouted. He put me in this hole. He needs to bail me out. The arguments became more frequent and more heated. Every family dinner turned into a thinly veiled intervention where they would try to convince me to drop the charges, to forgive Mark, and to even pay off the debt he incurred in my name. They said it would be easier and quicker if I just took care of it, and then we could all move on. I refused. Absolutely refused. I told them that Mark needed to face the consequences of his actions. I wasn't going to enable him anymore. I told them that I loved them, but that their favoritism towards Mark was completely unacceptable and incredibly hurtful. This led to an even bigger rift. My parents accused me of being selfish and unforgiving. They started telling other relatives a heavily skewed version of the story, making it sound like I was holding a grudge against poor, struggling Mark, who made a small mistake. Some relatives, who only heard their side, started calling me, gently suggesting I should be more lenient with my brother. It felt like the entire family was ganging up on me. The stress became unbearable. I started having trouble sleeping, constantly replaying conversations in my head. My work performance suffered, and I found myself withdrawing from friends. I even started seeing a therapist, who confirmed that my feelings of betrayal and anger were completely valid. Meanwhile, Mark, seeing that I wasn't going to back down, started showing a new side. He became resentful. He'd occasionally text me, demanding that I drop the police report, threatening to tell people lies about me if I didn't. He even tried to convince me that he was going to turn his life around, get a good job, and pay me back every penny, but his words felt hollow and manipulative. He even went so far as to suggest that I was the one ruining his life by not allowing him to escape the consequences. One particularly awful Thanksgiving, the tension finally boiled over. My parents had invited Mark, hoping for a family reconciliation. I tried to be civil, but the air was thick with unspoken resentment. During dinner, my mother made a comment about how some people just can't forgive. Pointedly looking at me, I finally snapped. Forgive what, Mother? Forgive being financially ruined by my own brother? Forgive having my trust shattered? Forgive having my parents defend the person who did this instead of me? My father slammed his hand on the table. That's enough, Alex. You are being disrespectful. Mark has apologized. What more do you want? I want him to fix what he broke. I yelled back. I want him to take responsibility. I want you two to support me for once, instead of coddling him. Mark, emboldened by my parents' defense, chimed in. Yeah, Alex, you're just being dramatic. It's not that big of a deal. You'll get your credit back eventually. You're just trying to ruin my life because you're jealous of me. That was it. The accusation of jealousy, after everything he had done, was the final straw. I stood up, pushed my chair back, and said, "You know what? I'm done. I can't do this anymore." I walked out of the house, leaving my plate untouched. Since that day, my relationship with my parents has been incredibly strained. We still talk, but it's always superficial. Any mention of Mark or my finances immediately shuts down the conversation. They still haven't apologized for their reaction, and they still haven't offered me any genuine support. They continue to enable Mark, giving him money and a place to stay when his latest venture inevitably fails. I've continued the long, arduous process of repairing my credit. It's a slow climb, but I'm making progress. The police investigation is still ongoing, and I've provided them with all the evidence I have. I don't know if anything will come of it, but at least I'm not giving up. I've also had to put a fraud alert on my credit file and enroll in identity theft protection services, which is an ongoing expense. The emotional toll has been immense. The betrayal from Mark cuts deep, but the lack of support, and even the blame, from my parents has been even more damaging. It has fundamentally changed how I view my family. The idea of family first feels like a cruel joke when I'm the one being thrown under the bus to protect someone who actively harmed me. I sometimes wonder if I'm overreacting, if I should just get over it as my parents suggest. But then I look at the pile of paperwork, the alerts on my credit, and remember the sleepless nights, and I know I can't. This wasn't a small mistake. This was a deliberate act of betrayal that has had significant consequences for my life. I don't know what the future holds for my relationship with my family. I love my parents, despite everything, but I feel a profound sense of loss and disappointment. And with Mark, I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive him. The trust is completely shattered. It's a lonely feeling, navigating this mess, knowing that the people who should have been my strongest allies chose to protect the person who hurt me. I feel like I'm grieving the family I thought I had. I'm just trying to pick up the pieces and rebuild my life, one step at a time.